Movie scenes can be changed at the last minute, and sometimes that can be a good thing, while other times it can be what totally ruins the movie. I'm your host Joss, and today on Top 10 Beyond the Screen I am dishing out a countdown of movie scenes that got changed last minute. Stick around to the end of the list to catch some new bonus content, and make sure you follow us on social media. Our links are down below. We post behind the scenes and other fun stuff. For now, let's take a look and see if these scene changes were for better or for worse. At number 10 on our list is a scene from Iron Man 3. Marvel fans know that we usually get a bonus credit scene at the end of each movie, which teases something for the next film. That's why we all glue our ass to the movie theater chair and force ourselves to watch the credit list, just to get to that scene. The end credit scene for Iron Man 3 shows Tony Stark narrating the film and relaying the story to his friend, Bruce Banner. This one was kinda disappointing, to be honest, because it didn't give away any secrets, which is what we were waiting for. Apparently they had a different original scene in mind, but when the movie was actually released, they realized there weren't many secrets to spill after all. So they desperately had to think of a post-credit scene, and it was Robert Downey Jr. who actually came up with this idea. He said he thought of the idea and ran it through with Mark Ruffalo only 2 months before the movie hit theaters. Coming in number 9 is Dawn of the Dead. It turns out the original ending for the iconic zombie horror movie was a lot darker than the one we saw. In fact, it didn't have a happy ending at all. In the original ending scene, the survivors who were left ended up committing a mass suicide. They all came together and agreed that dying together is better than becoming zombies. I would rather become a zombie. Someone from production spoke up with a suggestion that it was a little too dark, so the writers changed it so that the survivors fought off the zombies instead. The happy ending is definitely more cheesy, but it does give us some hope, you know? In case there is a real zombie apocalypse one day, we will feel like we might stand a chance. Maybe it was the motivation that we need to see. Taking over our number 8 spot is Back to the Future. Would you believe me if I told you that Michael J. Fox wasn't supposed to play Marty McFly in the Back to the Future movie? Better yet, that he wasn't supposed to be in the movie at all? It's true. Producers wanted him for the role, but he had turned them down when they initially asked because of a scheduling conflict. So they ended up casting Eric Stoltz in the role instead, but they revealed they thought he was just too serious. Halfway through the filming process, they found out that Fox had a more flexible schedule, so they cut Eric, took the $3 million hit, and refilmed every scene that Eric had done. So not only did they change one scene, they pretty much changed half of the movie. The last minute gamble definitely paid off though, in my opinion. No offense to Eric. Swiping the number 7 spot is a variety of scenes from the movie Jaws. Most people would say there is nothing wrong with the version we saw, but some people often forget that Steven Spielberg was actually a up-and-coming director at that time. So some minor errors and changes could be forgiven, or big ones. Apparently the movie studio wanted to use real footage of a shark for the movie, but Spielberg insisted on building and using a mechanical one, thinking that it would look more realistic. But it wasn't his greatest idea. The mechanical shark kept malfunctioning, and within the second week of filming, it completely broke down. Because of this, they had to change the scenes they already filmed, and some of them were just left out of the movie completely. But man, would I have loved to see that mechanical shark though. In at number 6 is I Am Legend. The movie came out in 2007 and made a whopping $585 million at the box office. Will Smith won an MTV Award, a Teen Choice Award, and a Saturn Award for his performance in the movie. And that might be because they made a last minute change that most likely saved the movie. The movie originally followed the same ending as the book, which was much later and way cheesier. In the novel, Will Smith's character Robert is trapped and surrounded by vampires. Instead of destroying them, he finds out they are smart and kind creatures that are just trying to find one of their kidnapped friends. Lame. The happy-go-lucky ending didn't fly with the majority of executives involved in the film, so they changed it last minute. That is why we ended up seeing Robert fighting until his death, where he blasts himself and the vampires with a grenade. That's what I'm talking about. Halfway through the list at number 5 is Scream 2. They actually had to change more than one scene. They had to change a ton of them. And it's not because they didn't like them. No, they actually loved them. They were forced to rewrite them. They had no choice. While filming the movie, the director and head writer were stunned when they found out that the entire script was leaked online, so everyone could see who dies and who the villain is. Basically, the entire movie was spoiled before it was even done filming. So they had no choice but to come up with an entirely new plotline and ending for the movie while filming it. All of their scenes had to be changed. It was revealed that the writers would run pages over to the director, who would adjust the script as the actors were performing it and filming it. But it all worked out okay, and the ending we saw had more suspense than the original one had, and a plot twist that made the sequel work out better too. So it's all good. Here we are at number 4 with The Shining. The 1980 psychological thriller is now a cult classic, so it's a little hard to believe the fact that they had to change the ending scene just 1 week before the premiere date. Yes, you heard that right. 1 week. The final scene that we saw shows Jack Torrance in a 1921 photo from the hotel, which ultimately left room for fans to come up with a bunch of different theories about it. But the original ending scene had a lot more detail. It even included an epilogue. So basically we would have had all of our questions answered. But just 1 week before the premiere date, the director Stanley Kubrick made the call that he didn't like the ending and didn't think it worked. It was reported that the sudden change actually required the theater projectionist to physically cut out the epilogue from the film reel and then mail it back to Warner Brothers Studios. Imagine that. What a time to be alive. Moving into number 3 is X-Men, another time that scenes had to be changed because an actor was replaced. I know, it's hard to imagine anyone other than Hugh Jackman playing the role of Wolverine, but imagine it because it almost happened. The actor Dougray Scott was taking on the role originally, but he had to back out last minute because of some scheduling conflicts. They were only 3 weeks away from beginning the editing process, so the producers had to hustle to find someone else. But they pulled it off, and 9 movies later, I think we can all agree that it was one of the best last minute changes. I really can't even picture the scenes with Dougray Scott. Whatever your name is. Taking over our number 2 spot is the one and only Star Wars. Guess what? One of the most important scenes in the movie was almost left out of the movie. In Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, we see a very important scene after their epic duel. Obi-Wan Kenobi picks up Darth Vader's lightsaber and takes it. Later on, we see that lightsaber is given to Luke Skywalker, so it was necessary that we saw how it got into the hands of Obi-Wan. But originally, that scene was never even filmed. The director George Lucas didn't realize how necessary it was until he was actually in the editing room and realized the huge hole in the plot. They had to go back and refilm scenes so that it could all piece together and make sense. Our number 1 spot is from Bird Box. The Netflix film had mixed reviews, so there were a lot of people who weren't thrilled about the ending. The whole concept of the movie was unique though. It was centered around a mysterious force that caused people to go crazy and kill themselves. The whole movie worked around the fact that if you looked at this monster, you would die. Throughout the movie, we were wondering if we were ever gonna see what this monster really looked like, but we never did. What a letdown. So we basically just had to use our imaginations and come up with like the scariest thing possible. Turns out, the producers actually created a monster and it was used in some of the original scenes. It looks like a large bald baby who hasn't had a sip of water in 200 years. Thankfully, they cut these scenes out because that's pretty weak. Like that's really the monster you came up with? You couldn't have come up with anything better than that? There's our top 10 list for today. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it and share your thoughts with me down in the comments. I'm gonna end our time together by responding to some comments from some of my other videos. Kathy Larson says, can you talk any faster? Why yes, Kathy. I can. Susan Fanter says, my comment is I have to go watch these movies now, lol. Yeah, what are you still doing here writing this comment? Go watch them. Chris Callan says, I'm an amateur radio operator and yes, I too get tongue-tied. See? It is not just me. I'm glad I'm not alone on that. Jordan Razev says, really interesting list. I love horror movies. Thanks, Jordan. I'm glad you liked it and I do too. As you can tell. I love scary movies. Alright, I'm taking off. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe before you go. I'm your host, Joss. I will see you next time. We post beyond... I was gonna say beyond the screen. Wow. They get paid the big bucks for a reason, right? To let their fans down. Bro, I don't know about you, but I can kick some serious ass if a zombie thing happens.
Ow! Like a dog just...
I had an itch.